November 21, 2019. A 25-year-old Turkish man, Recep Ataş, headed to a shooting range in the Başakşehir suburb of Istanbul. Upon arrival, he fired several rounds at the target when, suddenly, he pointed the gun at his heart and pulled the trigger. The shot killed him instantly. The following day, Ataş's father stated in an interview that his son had been depressed due to a substantial bank debt. The money Ataş had borrowed vanished into thin air after he decided to invest it in Çiftlik Bank, a game launched in 2016 following the success of FarmVille, but with a real-world extension.
Kendi elinizle yetiştirmiş kadar güvenli, lezzetli, sağlıklı ve bereketli. Çiftlik Bank.
On the app, you can use your coins to purchase virtual livestock. By doing so, you automatically invest in real-life farms, and the products derived from these animals are sold in stores near you. Çiftlik Bank isn't just a game. You can earn real money while simultaneously supporting local agriculture. More and more people were drawn to the game, spurred by friends and family who claimed to have received returns on their investments. Thousands rushed to pour money into Çiftlik Bank, with some even going into debt. I know what you're thinking. These details are starting to sound awfully familiar, aren't they? This seemingly harmless young man, nicknamed Tosun Juk, was the mastermind behind the app. He deceived an entire country, scammed over 100,000 people, and vanished without a trace, with more than $80 million.
Lakaplı Mehmet Aydın, Çiftlik Bank sistemi adı altında binlerce kişiyi dolandırıp Çiftlik Bank davasında bu iki sanık tahliye edildi. Mahkeme Tosuncuk lakaplı.
Çiftlik Bank istikrar olay.
Mehmet Aydın was born in Bursa, in northeastern Turkey, to a family of farmers. According to those who knew him, he was always seen as a hopeless young man with no prospects. During his teenage years, he dropped out of religious high school and began working as a dishwasher and waiter at a local cafe. Education wasn't a priority for him. He had ambitions to make money, and lots of it. At one point, he tried selling sunglasses that he claimed could see through people's clothes, but his real dream was to become a famous rapper.
Bir şişede hayallerim ciğerlerime duman gelir her çekişte hayaldeyim yaşattığım hayal değil tamamı gerçek hem de bunları yazdı elim yalansa sen de söyle.
But unfortunately for him, this dream would never come true. However, that very passion led him to forge connections within the Turkish rap scene. Through these contacts, he met an online game designer. The two became friends first, and later business partners. Aydın was a huge fan of the then massively popular Facebook game FarmVille. In 2016, he and his new friend teamed up to develop a rudimentary version of their own game. They named it Çiftlik Bank, which means farm bank in Turkish. And in July 2016, Aydın officially founded the company with a startup capital of roughly 10,000 Turkish lira. The game became an instant hit. Within just 8 months, it attracted over 50,000 active players. The core idea is simple. You can start and manage your own farm using gold as in-game currency to purchase various livestock like chickens, goats, and cattle. You earn money by selling products your animals produce, such as honey, eggs, and milk. Then, you can reinvest the profits to buy more livestock, and the cycle continues. You can even pay real money to buy virtual gold and expand your farm. For every new player you invite, you earn a small cut of their profits. If your farm thrives and you accumulate enough virtual gold, you can exchange your earnings for real cash. It sounds revolutionary. The money players pump into the game is invested in real-life farming operations. Profits from the sale of actual agricultural products then flow back into players' pockets. In essence, Çiftlik Bank becomes a hybrid between a video game and a crowdfunding platform for Turkish agriculture. This very concept, blending virtual gaming with tangible economic impact, becomes the key to the game's meteoric rise. Turkish agriculture has faced difficult years. Despite the country's farms still producing high-quality goods, a combination of factors, global warming, drought, rising production costs, and the proliferation of power plants has dealt a severe blow to the sector. As a result, more and more goods once produced locally now have to be imported. But then came Çiftlik Bank, offering people a chance to support the entire nation's agricultural industry, all while earning something for themselves. Agriculture holds a nostalgic resonance for the urban populations of Turkey's major cities, as noted by a psychology professor in a 2018 interview with the news site Al Monitor. Here, the value of meat rivals that of gold, so the idea of purchasing a cow feels like a safe and enticing investment to people. Exactly. It all seems too good, too perfect to be true.
Sakarya, Manisa, Tekirdağ ve Kırklareli'de kurulan dev tesislerinde Avrupa standartlarına uygun bir şekilde son teknolojiyle kurulmuş, el değmeden üretim yaparak lezzet ve doğallık arayan özenli tüketiciye ürünlerini ulaştırıyor.
In early 2017, Aydın was ready to launch the first two real-life farms near his hometown. He organized grand opening ceremonies attended by a local religious leader, a district governor, and the town's mayor. Aydın became a celebrity overnight at these events. Bodyguards now swarm around the now revered entrepreneur, shielding him from overzealous fans. From the very beginning, Aydın's project enjoyed backing from influential figures across the country. The game's promotional material even featured none other than Mehmet Cebik, a beloved Turkish actor, lending it a stamp of legitimacy.
Allahu Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber ve lillahil hamd.
Çiftlik Bank continued weaving an intricate business model. That same year, the company began launching gourmet food franchises across Turkey. Franchisees paid the company $30,000 to open stores, selling sausages, cheese, butter, and other goods, all branded with the Çiftlik Bank logo. This branding intentionally implied the products originated from livestock raised on the company's farms.
Biraz önce Çiftlik Bank uygulamasından kazandığınız parayla sucuk sipariş ettiniz.
İyi ama ben öyle bir uygulama kullanmıyorum.
Evet efendim. Belki siz kullanmıyorsunuz ama kızınız kullanıyor galiba.
Çiftlik Bank sucukları. Cuk diye oturan sucuk.
In less than a year, over 100 of these stores mushroomed across the country. Players of Çiftlik Bank receive 5% of their profits as vouchers redeemable at these stores. Products can be selected directly within the game and then collected at your nearest store, with the remaining 95% of profits paid out as real money. The company, in turn, compensates store owners with 20% of the value from items purchased using these vouchers. Let's say you decide to invest 17 Turkish lira. Among other options, the game lets you purchase a hen. This hen would then earn you a steady annual return of 37 lira from its egg production and sales, and this applied to every animal in the game. In just under 6 months, your investment would pay for itself, and every moment after that would turn into pure profit. At its peak, Çiftlik Bank boasted over 500,000 active players. More than 130,000 people poured their money into the game, some even taking out massive loans to fuel their investments. A staggering $250 million flooded into the system. By all appearances, it was a triumph. The promise of withdrawing funds at any time created an illusion of security, lulling users into unwavering trust.
Mehmet Bey merhaba.
Merhaba Hüseyin Bey, hoş geldiniz.
Hoş bulduk. Mehmet Bey, şimdi çevremizde duyan herkes, bizim söylediğimiz herkes bu Çiftlik Bank ne kazanıyor ki size bu kadar kazandırıyor sorusunu yöneltiyorlar bize. Biz açıkçası tam bir açıklama yapamıyoruz kendilerine. Buna bir açıklık getirirseniz seviniriz.
But unfortunately, Çiftlik Bank is nothing but a massive fraud, a Ponzi scheme, and its founder, Mehmet Aydın, a con artist.
Keşke Mehmet Aydın'ın üyelere güvendiği kadar üyeler de, yatırımcılar da Çiftlik Bank'a ve Mehmet Aydın'a güvenmiş olsa.
The products in franchise stores bear the game's logo but have no connection to the company's livestock. Most of those farms lie inactive, serving only as a facade. Initially, as with all Ponzi schemes, players could withdraw their in-game earnings without issues. But Aydın's pyramid scheme only works as long as it grows, attracting new players to inject fresh capital. That money is then funneled into paying the returns promised to earlier players.
Ne yani burada size inandırıcı olan ne oldu?
Üye sayısına baktık. Biraz tatmin edici miktardaydı. Yani bu kadar insan aptal olamayacağını düşündük. Ondan sonra da katılmaya karar verdik. 4 ayda da şu anda üyeyiz.
Sıkıntı var mı?
In November 2017, whispers began swirling, claims that ambiguities were starting to surface around the app. The newspaper Daily Sabah reports that the game has raised red flags among regulatory bodies, highlighting that its bank accounts, registered under a shell company, are based in the de facto Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. 2 inspectors from the Ministry of Customs and Commerce were tasked with auditing the company's finances. Around the same time, Çiftlik Bank's empire began to crumble. Realizing he couldn't sustain his scheme much longer, Aydın abruptly sold his shares in the company in December 2017. In February 2018, a popular Turkish consumer complaint website was flooded with grievances from users claiming they'd received no returns on the money invested in the app. 1 month later, Çiftlik Bank announced it had suspended accepting new users and officially halted all profit payouts. Players erupted in fury, demanding their money back. Some had poured their life savings into the game, believing they could profit while doing good for their country. The company's farms were stormed, with enraged crowds attempting to seize livestock on site.
Parayla aldık yani bu hayvanları bizim parayla aldık biz bunu. Sözleşme karşılığında aldık. Ama şimdi bir tane saman balyası bile vermiyorlar bize.
It wasn't until March 2018 that the first official reports emerged. Authorities confirmed that Çiftlik Bank was a scam. The prosecutor's office launched a criminal investigation and issued an arrest warrant for Mehmet Aydın and several of his employees, but the man had already vanished without a trace. Interpol officially issues a red notice for his arrest, labeling him one of the most wanted international fugitives. Law enforcement worldwide is urged to track him down. Not long after, it's revealed that Aydın fled to Uruguay, but the guy isn't exactly choosing to keep a low profile. This is a video he himself posted while driving a Ferrari, and in the meantime, he also bought a private yacht. To sustain his lifestyle of excess and luxury, Aydın embezzled millions from Çiftlik Bank users and did so for a long time before fleeing to Uruguay. His former bodyguard claims that Aydın frequently visited casinos in northern Cyprus to gamble, use cocaine, and hire prostitutes. Now it seems he continues to live his unrestrained life in South America as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, 12,000 kilometers away from him, the story of the scam dominates Turkish media for months. Aydın mocks the victims and blames the Turkish state. He claims he cannot repay the investors because the authorities seized all of his company's assets. His former associates are busy apologizing to the public, while the well-known figures who trusted him are being dragged through a media storm. As time passes, the net of investigators and law enforcement begins to tighten around Aydın. In January 2020, a private investigative firm hired by the victims of Çiftlik Bank reveals that Aydın is hiding in Brazil. By August of that same year, local news outlets report that investigators have located Aydın and informed Interpol of his whereabouts. With no escape routes left, on July 1st, 2021, Aydın surrenders himself at the Turkish consulate in São Paulo, Brazil. He is arrested and deported to Turkey 2 days later. Turkish Airlines flight TK0016 lands in Istanbul at 22:05, where a crowd of journalists awaits him. Aydın will soon be brought to trial alongside his accomplices and will face an unprecedented verdict. Aydın must serve a total of over 75,000 years in prison. Meanwhile, his Ferrari and yacht are seized by authorities in Uruguay. Mehmet fled to South America with 80.5 million in cash, but returned with just 13 in his wallet. This is the story of Mehmet Aydın, a young man who exploited people's needs and hopes to enrich himself solely to fuel his excessive lifestyle and feed his insatiable ego. As always, the only victims are the people who trusted advice from friends and family, hoping to support their country's economy while also trying to earn something for themselves. The system that should have protected these people with basic oversight once again failed in its duty. But this is just one of countless similar stories. And believe me, it certainly won't be the last.